Today, we are doing a movie that reminds us of the true meaning of Christmas. It's the touching story about a man who just wants to kill people because they celebrate Christmas, and the woman who wants to kill him for killing both her parents. That's right, it's the Grinch horror movie, The Mean One, starring Dave Howard Thornton in a role you'll love him in as the Grinch who doesn't speak. Now, if only Jim Carrey didn't speak during his Grinch movie, we'd all be happy. It starts out in the usual way with Cindy giving the Grinch a necklace and then kissing him, telling him she'll forgive him. But then we see the harsh truth of this movie. Her mother gets involved at saying the Grinch is a monster and beating him with a wise man. The Grinch Jen defends himself, and her mother falls and dies. And Cindy declares the Grinch a monster. Then we go 20 years later. Cindy and her dad are back in Newville. Now, you'll notice there are a lot of names close to the Grinch and close to Whoville and close to Dr. Seuss things. They're not quite the same because they don't want to get sued by Dr. Seuss. But I think this is the story Dr. Seuss was trying to tell, but he got all sidetracked by saying we should do this for children. And really, Dr. Seuss was not for the children. He really wanted to tell a horror story here. I think this is truly Dr. Seuss's dream story of the Grinch. So they're back in Newville, and they have reindeer antlers and a red nose on the car, and they get pulled over by a cop. A Jewish cop who's like, "Oi, lady!" No, he calls Cindy ma'am, and Cindy takes offense. And Cindy says her name is Cindy, and her dad continues to embarrass her. The cop tells them they have to lose the antlers and the horn and the nose because it's city law. So Cindy has nightmares, and her dad comes in with a baseball bat to beat her in the head to get the nightmares to go away. Cindy says, "No, Dad, I do not want my lobotomy today." But they decide to decorate for Christmas. And we meet two other of our main characters when Cindy's in a diner. The sheriff, who tried to convince Cindy when she was a little girl, and she drew the Nightmare Man, and she drew the monster who killed her mom, that it wasn't a monster. And the mayor running for re-election, trying to get people to vote for her for re-election in December. Not many elections are in December, but maybe in Newville, all the elections are in December. And that's why December is such an important time. Now, they can't decorate for Christmas because no one in Newville celebrates Christmas anymore. But they find lights in the attic and string them up in a montage. Christmas decorating montage. But then Cindy takes the trash out, and the Grinch strikes and kills her father. Cindy goes back to the hospital. It's mentioned earlier she was in a hospital after her mother died. She goes back, and they're thinking she's insane. And she describes the monster again. So then when she gets back out of the hospital, her and the deputy have a little romantic thing going on. But Cindy goes up to the mountains after finding a rare flower that grows in the mountains in her house where her father was killed. And gets a picture of the Grinch. It's blurry, but it's a picture still. Like all those pictures of Bigfoot. They're blurry, but they're pictures of Bigfoot. Either that or they're just pictures of a regular guy walking around mountains. And then she sees the monster as it's attacking two campers. She throws rocks at it. Because stonings are apparently illegal as long as they're on them against monsters. Let he who is Cindy throw the first stone. and let he who is the Grinch be stoned to death. So then she tries to get the hiker to identify the monster, but the hiker says her glasses were knocked off, so she couldn't see. So then Cindy puts the pictures up of the blurry monster all around town. And the sheriff says no. So then Cindy starts roasting chestnuts, and the Grinch attacks her house. But he's stopped by Doc, the Santa-looking fellow who has a drinking problem. So he may actually be Santa. But I forgot to mention, there's another attack of the Grinch. Besides the mountains, a bunch of Santas roll into a diner outside town with their hose. Because hose are the way Santa keeps warm at night. Mrs. Claus is with the elves and Santa's with his hose. And they all get killed, but they refuse to do anything about Santa and his hose that's outside the town. The last time I checked, sheriffs do county and policemen in the town do the town, but sheriff in this movie only does the town. So Doc saves Cindy from the monster who's attacking her home, and then they go and then Doc goes and gets drunk, and Cindy and her deputy friend, decides to go into the mountain and do some research. And he doesn't see the Grinch, who is now called the Mean One, but doesn't notice someone is in the mountain, and he gets a bunch more wallets and sees a half-eaten corpse. So he knows something's up before Doc eventually saves him, before eventually running into Doc. So Cindy then decides, after having another nightmare, this one involving a shower scene, which has no nudity, surprisingly, but involves her making out with the deputy in the shower before the deputy is killed by the Mean One. Still a decent shower scene. She decides to kill the monster and begins training, and we see another montage. This one's kind of like Rocky, only if Rocky was a woman and without all the sit-ups. So the deputy is in her montage doing the wallet thing, tracking all the missing people whose wallets he found. And we get some weird cryptic thing between the mayor and the sheriff, conversation between the mayor and sheriff, where the mayor is leaving town, and Doc gets arrested and thrown in jail for being drunk, but he wasn't driving, so he technically wasn't breaking the law, because he was just drunk in a bar and leaving a bar. But he does have a lot of firepower on him at all times. But we're going into the stunning conclusion. The deputy sheriff comes over and tells Cindy that he tracked down, and they're all missing people, told to hike in the Newville Mountains by a website run by the mayor. But the mayor has left town. So he goes up, and Cindy tells him she's going to kill the monster. And the deputy says she needs to learn to forgive, because he's Jewish and he forgives everyone. Which we need to learn to forgive the Jews and everyone else, because forgiveness is key. And then they don't suspect we're going to murder them. So Cindy's got the monster, and then the deputy confronts the sheriff, and they have a conversation about how the sheriff's already damned because he was in run with the sheriff. And he lets Doc out. He's possibly sober, but not for long. So then the deputy goes into the mountains to try to sing Christmas carols to get the Grinch out to kill him so he can fight him. But he doesn't know any Christmas carols, so he sings the dreidel song. over and over and over again until it's seared into your brain like a bad memory. But he gets caught in a trap, the Grinch laughed. And the Grinch is about to kiss him under the mistletoe. Because let's face facts, we all want a kiss from the Grinch. It's like the Tooth Fairy or the St. Valentine's Day fat child in a diaper carrying a bow. Or maybe that's what maybe more like a cute Tooth Fairy that we want a kiss from. Only it's the Grinch, and he's here to steal Christmas. We all want a kiss from under the mistletoe, but we just don't want him to eat our face. But then the sheriff shows up and stops the Grinch, frees the deputy, and says he's going after the Grinch in the Grinch's home cave. He does not last long. But then Cindy and Doc show up and get the deputy to safety before Cindy decides it's time for the final showdown. The final showdown is a good, solid final showdown. Grinch gets shot a lot. Cindy gets her ass kicked a little bit. Doc gets wounded. And then finally, Cindy has the Grinch down for the count and is about to stab him with a knife. And she sees the necklace of Santa she gave him when she was, I'm guessing, 6, 8, 10, something like that. She wasn't 2 like in the book. But then again, no one makes Cindy 2 in these movies. Except maybe in the original Grinch show with Boris Karloff. They all age Cindy up. Okay, so she sees the necklace and she's like, "You saved this." And then she kisses the Grinch and says, "I forgive you." And the Grinch holds her hand. And then the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day and explodes. That is how the Grinch dies. And then Christmas comes back to Newville. And then the picture of the Grinch Cindy took, the blurry picture, makes the internet, and everyone comes to the Newville Mountains to hunt the Grinch, who is now dead. That is the end of The Mean One. This is a good, solid movie. It teaches us the true meaning of Christmas, which is to hate Christmas and eat anyone who likes Christmas. It's a good, solid movie. David Howard Thornton is great in it. He's always good at playing these characters who don't speak. We all wish Jim Carrey didn't speak in his Grinch. Then again, we all wish Jim Carrey's Grinch didn't get made. And then again, I watched the cartoon Grinch movie. That was actually better than Jim Carrey's Grinch movie. But I'm getting off topic here. This is a good movie. It's free on YouTube. Go watch it. It's a solid movie. David Howard Thornton is amazing in it. He does great physical work as a Grinch who only roars. His roar is cool. I give it 12 out of 10 stars. Check it out. It's free on YouTube, or you can rent it on YouTube, or I bought it on Amazon because I really love this movie and I want to show it to my nephew. Now we got a new thing. I'm going to answer your mail or your comments on YouTube, because it's technically a comment on YouTube. This is off my Finley career retrospective. The reason I wasn't doing this before was because I wasn't getting comments on YouTube. This is from Matt G316. Way to go, Matt G. You're using your name and apparently ripping off Stone Cold. I'm sure you're 316ing it. What does Matt G316 stand for? Does it stand for I just licked someone's ass? I'm a brown noser? I don't know. He says, why even make videos? Well, I make videos for my solid 2-3 fans that watch everything I do. They're my rock. I'm sure you try to be stone cold, but you fall way short. I'm sure you also have a small dick. But why do I make these videos? For the 2-3 fans that watch everything I do, and they enjoy everything I do, and because I have free time to make these videos. They relax me. They're fun. As for you, Matt G, congratulations on ripping off Stone Cold for the 316. Try to rip off The Rock next time. Say, I don't care what you think, or whatever The Rock used to say. It doesn't matter what you think. That's what you should say. Say that in public enough until someone slaps you. Well, that's all the time we have for this week. Join me next week where I'm sure I will review another low-budget movie.